And this is the perfect AMD setup. You can see the accumulation range right there, followed by the manipulation range with that huge wick, which shows that it's a manipulation. I'm just going to annotate the accumulation range right here. This one's a little more advanced. It's harder to see because it doesn't look like it's consolidating, but once you go down to the lower time frames, you'll be able to see it a lot easier. I can recognize it from the high time frames, but that just comes with experience. So now I'm going to point out to you the manipulation part, was that huge wick that traded down into that higher time frame PD array, which is on the 4 hour, which is what we always look for. We look for something for liquidity to be grabbed, and that's all it was doing. So reach down into there, perfectly executing down there, and then you see it reject heavily after that. I got my entries a little bit early because I know what I was looking for, but I'm going to show you guys where you would look to enter. So in this 15-minute fair value gap, here's where you'd be patient for and look for when you're first starting out, because you don't know what it's going to do yet. You're not used to the market characteristics yet, but I knew what it was going to do, so I got my entries earlier, as I'll show you in a bit. And then this is somewhere where you could look to go for second entries after your first take profits are hit, or this is where you would go for your first entries. So here are my entries. They're a bit lower, obviously, because I knew what I was looking for a little bit earlier. So this is before that 15-minute fair value gap is filled, so before it's even printed. So you guys will see the 15-minute fair value gap after come back, and we'll see if it trades back into that, and you'll get new entries, and that's where you would look to go for until you build that rapport and understand what you're looking for, and you'll be able to get these lower entries right when it does this manipulation swing. So after I saw that it manipulated, you'll see here as soon as it broke structure upwards on the lower time frame, I started staggering in my entries. I started with a low entry, and then I slowly scaled in more and more as we were going up, as we were trading into all different types of PD arrays. I knew what I was looking for, and that's what I was talking about. Once you have your bias, you want to be able to execute on everything that you see, and you know that where you're aiming for. And I'm looking for a TP all the way up there. There's a low-hanging TP here that I'm going to take, which is right here. It's 70 pips, so I already hit that. I took one of my positions out, but I'm going to go for a bigger RR just because I don't need this low-hanging fruit right here. But this is where you would normally want to take your profits. This is perfect 70 pips, quick. You're in and out. It's a good RR. It's about 2.5 to 1. Honestly, your stop loss could be even tighter. I was just playing it safe, so it could even be like a 4 to 1 trade on this easily. But this is why you need to have a safe stop loss, and you could even do a tighter stop loss than that. I just like to play it safe. As you guys know, GJ can do a lot of wicks and bounces, so you don't want to be taking out unnecessarily. So as I was saying before, this is more than a logical point to take profit. This is a perfect trade. As I annotated already, we have a 15-minute fair value gap that just formed, and we're going to look for another trade as it trades down into that. And if you missed this first trade that I took, then you would be looking for that 15-minute. That's why it's all about patience and waiting for the market to show its hand. That 15-minute order block, that or fair value gap that's there, is the market showing its hand. Just take a second to pause the video. When I'm finished writing the note, you guys can read that note to yourself. This is just a note that I wrote for you guys. And yeah. Here we are getting that 15-minute fair value gap fill that we finally aimed for. So this would be your normal entry when you're starting out and you're beginner. This is the most easy entry that you can take. So you have that 15 minutes, also an optimal trade entry. There's an order block there. There's so many confluences. You've seen the AMD setup. Now this is the D setup, which is step 3. Now you can take that easy take profit, which was that old high, that was our original take profit. That's always your low hanging fruit. That's also going to be more than enough for you. That's probably like 60 or 50 pips trade. So after this was formed, if you missed that 15-minute entry that we already took, here's an inversion gap that's setting up. This one's not going to be as high probable, but it's going to be a key level in the market, and we're going to see a lot of price trade around this area. So as it comes back into it, I would look to take a little more entries, but it would be less risk because it doesn't necessarily have to respect it that well. It's gonna definitely be a key point of the market, but we already have higher time frame PD arrays and liquidity points to look for. So here we are now that inversion gap has been traded to. As you see, it did one more sweep into the 15-minute fair value gap, but you see the price action around that inversion gap. Like I said, it's going to be a key point of liquidity. So around that area, you're going to look for your setups to trade. And there you go. We hit it, and then we hit that old high that we were looking for. So that's another trade you could have taken. Quick, easy 50 pips that you could have grabbed. Here's my higher time frame analysis of where I'm aiming for the original trade, but this is one step past what you need to do. That you already had two trade setups that were just easy in and out, and that's all you need. This is just for the people who want to get big RRs and understand liquidity more on the higher time frames and what you're looking for on the higher time frames. And boom, just like that, we hit that TP perfectly. Price delivered itself right to where we're aiming for. Now that is 3 beautiful setups for you guys of a full price swing that you catch the whole thing. So here I'm just showing you guys maybe another setup that's likely to come because I still have one more target I want to get to. The super long-term price swing with a high PD array on the daily. And that's where I would go for if you're going for like a swing trade. I've already been in this trade for 3 days now, so this is what happens in the summer. The markets are kind of slow, so that's why you see a bunch of that choppy movement, but we're still on side. We know what we're looking for. So that other target that you can go for, that's at that very high. That's if you're really into holding the trade. That'll probably not deliver until next week, but we got this huge swing already, over 100 pips caught. So that's all you guys need. That is more than enough. That is 3 different trades, multiple setups you could have taken, all within the right side of liquidity and on the right side of price action. I'm just going to show you guys quickly that I still have some of my positions left going for that huge swing. I closed out most of my positions on this 100 pip take profit, but I still have some positions, as you can see, floating. I'm going to move them to risk free very soon, and I'm catching those swap fees as well, so you know you can't complain. Thank you guys and take care.